Thank you, everybody, for coming to the Aaron Torres Podcast YouTube page. If you could do me a quick favor, see that little subscribe button at the bottom of your screen? Go ahead, click that subscribe button. Really does help our channel grow, our audience grow, and I really do appreciate it more than you know. So click that subscribe button. Appreciate your support. Now, here's the video that you came here for. All right, everybody, I'm back. Good to be back. So want to go ahead and get to the late breaking news that ultimately isn't all that surprising, but is still a little, sad, disappointing, whatever. And that is that Eric Musselman, previously the head coach at Arkansas, he has officially accepted the USC head coaching job, meaning that USC has itself its next head coach. And at the same time, Arkansas will be looking for a new head coach. Want to break it down, want to talk about it from every angle, why it's not ultimately that surprising, why I hope in time everyone can appreciate what Eric Musselman has done for Arkansas and elevating the entire program. But then I know Arkansas fans, you're tuning in for the good stuff. Who is going to be the next head coach at Arkansas? Well, let's go ahead and dive in and have that conversation. So first off, bottom line, if you listen, we did a live stream on Tuesday night, and ultimately, we talked about all this. This news should not be surprising, and I'll tell you why here in case you missed the live stream. The bottom line is pretty straightforward, okay? The bottom line is that, as I told you on the live stream, Andy Enfield was the previous head coach at USC, okay? He was officially announced on Monday, but the reports first started surfacing probably Tuesday or Wednesday of last week that he was a candidate for the SMU job. I can tell you definitively the holdup there, why it took a week to officially name him the head coach, is because the buyout money at USC was funny. He had a big buyout. SMU didn't want to pay it. They're trying to negotiate. USC said no. And so his buyout dropped on April 1st, which was Monday, which was why he was officially named the head coach on Monday. Eric Musselman, we find out on Tuesday, is interviewing on Wednesday. But why I bring it up is because of what I said on the live stream on Tuesday. I said Jen Cohen, the AD at USC, she had a week to do all of her homework. She knew Andy Enfield was leaving a week and a half ago, okay? And so I bring it up because when I saw that Eric Musselman was interviewing, I said, that's not an interview. That's not me showing up with my resume and let me tell you what my strengths and weaknesses are. She did her homework, and I don't believe that they get to the point on Wednesday if she doesn't know that Eric Musselman wants the job, and if she's not comfortable offering the job and accepting and letting him accept it. In other words, this isn't a get to know you thing. It is we're getting together, we're finalizing this thing, and you are going to come out of this the next head coach. And so I said from the beginning, I said, as soon as I saw that report, I said, she had all weekend to vet candidates, okay? Tuesday, it's not an interview. It is a formality. That's exactly what happened. And now Eric Musselman is headed to USC. From the Arkansas perspective, listen, one thing, Arkansas fans, I will tell you this. I never tell a fan how to feel. That's not my place. You guys and girls are the ones that pour your blood, sweat, and tears into the Razorbacks. But what I can also tell you is I hope in time that everyone can appreciate, as bad as it ended, how good it was during the Eric Musselman era. And by the way, you know how I know? It's because I came down and I got to see it with my own two eyes. And I am here to tell you, Fayetteville, Arkansas, Bud Walton Arena, it's as good of an arena as any place I've ever been for college basketball. It's as passionate of a fan base as anywhere I've ever been for college basketball. Fayetteville is a beautiful college community, beautiful community in general. And so I think Eric Musselman kind of opened up the eyes of everyone in college basketball as to how good this job is. We've been saying for years, Arkansas is a sleeping giant. Well, Eric Musselman poked that little bad boy in the back, poked that hog in the back, woke it up, and that thing's been roaring, okay? And so you know the facts and figures, but it's worth noting. Arkansas had not made what? The second weekend of the tournament since 1995 before he got there. And I'm not here to diminish what other coaches have or have not done, but Mike Anderson, it always felt like, made you feel like you should be grateful that he got you to the tournament, made you feel like you should be grateful that he was even the head coach. Eric Musselman came in, and by year 2, he makes the Elite Eight? Are you kidding me? Year 3, Elite Eight. Year 4, Sweet 16. 3 different times he makes the second weekend. Twice he's a game away from the Final Four. By the way, twice in those losses, you lose to the eventual NCAA tournament champion, 2021 Baylor, 2023 UConn. So you get a different break, you get a different bracket, you get a different draw. Arkansas potentially goes to its first Final Four since 1995, but it doesn't diminish what he did. I think more importantly, it's about the perception of the program that he created. I'm telling you, people in college basketball, not fans, but even fans too, they look at Arkansas completely differently than they did 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 12 years ago. What they see is what Eric Musselman saw 5 years ago when he took this job. What they see is a place that has a passionate, crazy, in a good way fan base. Again, I was there for the state record for most people ever attending a basketball game, okay? They see a school that is willing to do whatever it can to support, whether it's NIL, resources, whatever. They see a place that Eric Musselman brought in NBA players, brought in high school players. You have enough high school players in that state to win at the highest level. Moses Moody, Jalen Williams, Devo Davis, who I know it didn't end well, but he was a great Razorback with a lot of great moments. Whoever. I'm missing somebody big, I feel like. I don't know. I'm probably missing. Oh, Nick Smith Jr., number one player in America, was an Arkansas Razorback. I mean, think about saying that 10 years ago. It just didn't happen. Those guys didn't go to Arkansas, but they did under Eric Musselman. Proved you can recruit elite high school players. Proved you can get guys to the NBA from that school. Proved it can be an NBA factory. And so I just bring it up because from the outside, he has changed the perception of that job, maybe forever, or certainly for the next generation of young head coaches. And this job is so much more desirable than when he took it over. So with that said, one, I'm not telling fans how to feel, but hopefully you appreciate what he did for the program. But two, let's take it a step further. Let's start talking about candidates. Because I'm here to tell you, good coaches want this job. The first one, and I truly believe this in my heart of hearts, I think Chris Beard is interested, okay? Chris Beard, people would sit there and say, well, he's at Ole Miss already. Why would he leave Ole Miss? Well, he would leave Ole Miss because, remember, he coached at Little Rock many a moon ago. First D1 head coaching job was at Little Rock. He gets to the NCAA tournament, goes from there to actually UNLV for a couple weeks. Then he goes to Texas Tech, and then to Texas, then to Ole Miss, and we know the backstory there. But my understanding is, he stayed in touch with everybody in Little Rock. Everybody in Arkansas loves and respects him, at least as a basketball coach. Everybody respects what he's done. And so I solely bring it up because when I look at Chris Beard, I think he's interested in this job. By the way, I know he just signed an extension at Ole Miss. My understanding is there is nothing in that extension that will preclude him from taking the Arkansas job. In other words, there's no buyout that's so big. There's no $30 million buyout or whatever, okay? I think it's a big number, but I think there are money people at Arkansas that if he wants this job, he will get it, and they will pay to get him out of that contract at Ole Miss. So keep an eye on Chris Beard. I believe that if they can get the money right, not his salary as much as that buyout, that I believe he could be your next head coach at Arkansas. Mentioned on the live stream, Jerome Tang. I was told by somebody I trust he pushed hard for Louisville. He wanted Louisville. I don't think he's happy at Kansas State. We've talked a lot about it with the Louisville stuff, but he was a guy that had one of his starters, Naquan Tomlin, was suspended to start the year at Kansas State. School wouldn't let him come back. Kid transfers, plays for Memphis this year. So I've heard there's always been a rift with his administration since then. And so I solely bring it up to sit there and say that I've been told he's looking. I've been told he's not happy with the setup at Kansas State, not happy with his bosses, and he is willing to come somewhere else. And I know he's got an eye on that Arkansas job, and I believe he would be really good there. Young, late 40s, early 50s, whatever he is. Super energetic. We've seen him jump into the crowd at those Kansas State games, celebrating with the fans. I know there was a little bit of a down year this year, but remember, again, his starting center got suspended. The school wouldn't let him bring him back. And then his sixth man got hurt or whatever, gets hurt going into the season. So you're down two key players. He still almost makes the NCAA tournament. I think Jerome Tang would be a huge hit there. The other name, listen, Will Wade's probably one. I don't get the sense that is something that would work at Arkansas. I think Will Wade's great. But I will also say that, just talking to people who know that situation. He was at LSU. LSU is a big rival of Arkansas. My sense is that probably, there was some issue with a fight or something that happened when he was at LSU. Plus, obviously, he's got a lot of baggage. Was at McNeese State. I think he's going to be a rock star somewhere else. I'd actually be curious if Chris Beard leaves Ole Miss, if he would take Ole Miss. But Will Wade's probably the other name that comes to mind with that Arkansas job. I do think Chris Beard's a real factor for that job, though. I truly believe it in my heart of hearts. I truly believe that he wants that job and he will take that job if it is offered to him, or at least he will take the phone call. I guess the question becomes, what's up with the buyout? These are things that Hunter Yurachek, I'm sure the AD has been looking into. Eric Musselman gone. My guess, you're going to get a very good head coach. I think Chris Beard is probably the guy. Jerome Tang, I think, maybe even a Will Wade. Then after that, listen, I don't think you're going to have to get out of that tier, is my guess. We'll have more on this on the next episode of the Aaron Torres Sports Podcast. Wanted to do a quick reaction. Time for us to get out of here. Appreciate everybody's support. We'll have full reaction on the next pod, like I said. And oh, by the way, make sure you're on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe.